Hey guys, welcome to Mindful Moments. So this is something new that I'm going to be doing every week. Just talking a little bit about the theme of the meditation and talking about the theme of the week. Just really organically and just sharing my thoughts on whatever it is that we're talking about. So this week, our first week, it is all about truthfulness and truth and what is your truth and speaking your truth. And to me, truth is being able to share what's in your heart and being able to speak that. So I believe that we are made up of these different parts, kind of like, it's so cliche, but like an onion. And so I believe that, we do have these different layers, and then what resides in the center, or kind of like the bulb of the onion, that is the true self. And the true self doesn't have the ability to lie or to pass judgment or to have fear. It's just that true essence that is just us. And so to me, being able to speak your truth is being able to speak what is written on your heart or what that true self is wanting to say. And the reason that I created the meditation this week, the truthfulness meditation, is because I think a lot of people either don't know how to share their truth or they're afraid to share their truth. And I know that I struggled with that for a long time because it's hard to share what is really true to you, and it makes you very vulnerable to share those things that you think are really true. And if you share something that's coming right from that heart or the true self, and someone doesn't agree with it or someone rejects it, we're really making ourselves vulnerable. And I think that can often make us afraid to share what's in our heart. And in the meditation, you'll hear me describe different blockages or debris, or I call it gunk, that is in the throat. So the meditation is all about the throat. That's where the seed of communication and truth is. But I think that debris isn't just necessarily, it can be physical, right? It can be our throats are kind of clogged up. But I think it's mostly fear and misapprehension and hesitation that really become those blockages in our throat that make it hard to share what is true to us. So that was the inspiration for this week's meditation. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about that and also share my thoughts on truth, on true versus real. So those of you who know me know that there's this book called The Yamas and the Niyamas, and I love it. And the woman who writes it, Deborah Adele, I'm such a fangirl of hers. But she talks about being real, being true and being real. And she makes the argument that being true is different than being real. So we've all been in those situations where, someone says, well, I'm just being real, and then what's to come is going to be something that's going to hurt. And so she makes the argument that truthfulness and truth has to be rooted in nonviolence. So it is possible to be honest and to be true and to share things, but root it in nonviolence. So not saying things intentionally to harm others. And of course, it might happen that what you say may end up harming others, or perhaps it might just be hard to hear, even if it's your truth. But what it really boils down to in this book, in my belief, is that it boils down to your intention. So was your intention to harm someone, or was your intention to share your truth rooted in nonviolence? And that really is the difference between being true and being real. I'm sure we all know people that say, I'm just real, I'll just tell you like it is. And they may have a tendency to be a little bit more harmful and to be a little bit cutting and unkind with their words. So I really believe that truth always has the intention to not harm. And I also am excited about this week's topic because I think that it's one that we run into a lot, especially with social media and kind of being in that era of sharing everything, but kind of sharing the curated version of ourselves. So the version of ourselves that we want people to see. And I'm very guilty of that too. Like when I post on social media for my brand, whether it's for the podcast or Yoga for You, it is a brand, and so I'm posting things that have been curated to help share my brand message. And to me, that may not be the truth. It may be something that's been created and something that I do stand for, but it may not always be, exactly true to that moment. And so for me, I think it's really important to see that, and when we look at social media or when we look at the media in general, to know that that's something that may not necessarily be the truth. It may be something that people want you to think is the truth. And a challenge that I've had for myself lately is to be a little bit more real and more authentic on social media. And actually part of that is me starting this blog, and so just kind of speaking freely and organically about how I feel about these different topics and why I pick them for the podcast, or why I may create yoga classes or use them as themes, and just being just much more authentic and sharing my thoughts with you guys. So that's something that I think is really important as of late, is the truth that we share with others on social media, and why we feel like we have to share this curated or kind of concocted, formulated version of ourselves. Is there something that makes us feel like the actual true us isn't enough or isn't special enough to share with the world? And I just think that's something that's worth pausing and thinking about. So that was my inspiration for the meditation and the podcast episode this week. So if you haven't checked it out yet, there's a link below to the actual meditation, so you can listen to it if you'd like to use it. And if you have any requests for themes or any feedback, I always love to hear it. So you can either leave me a message on the website, email me info@yogafreeonline.com. You can find me on social media. You can see me trying to be a little bit more authentic and less curated. And until then, I'll see you guys next week.